Honkers, honker, honk. Morning, YouTube, friends and family. Hey, the return of the sun today. What's up, duckies? Back on the job today. Heading back to finish my work in that closet, to finish the work in that bedroom, and eventually I'll be putting in all red pine flooring in the downstairs living room, which will be a lot of fun. So I'll be there for today, I'll be there for tomorrow, and I'll be back there early next week. Thanks for coming with me on my day, and let's pack this thing up and get the show on the road. Have you ever heard of the process of scribing? Scribing is when you have an irregular surface to which you want to put another surface up against, and you want it to meet nicely, but the surface might go like this or have a weird angle. So the idea is to get it closely fit and then put a scribe line to mimic the surface that you're going up against. I've already done it for the back board on this shelf. Now I'm going to do it for the ends, and I'll show you what it's all about. So the idea is just to take a pencil and use that as a guide over the irregular surface and transfer the irregular surface onto the board. See how it drew that angled line? That mimics this surface, so if I cut along that line, it should meet perfectly. So I'll do it to this end, then I'll lift this end and put the other end down, and both ends should fit nicely then. Okay, now that I have the broad shelf here, I'm going to make a little return shelf that comes back and meets the front wall of this closet. So it'll come out, turn, and then I'm going to put a little angle cut here so that it doesn't stick out into the doorway. So that procedure you just saw me doing was creating, it's called a pocket jig, and it creates these angled holes so that you can fasten one board onto the edge of another board and sort of have it hidden. It's a great trick in the carpenter's toolkit. process is called freehanding. When you don't use the fence to make a rip cut, you cut to a line and use the saw like a circular saw, essentially. And it helps you make a tapered cut that's wider at one end and narrow at the other. I am so glad I had someone else do this. He did such a nice job, and there's just such an art to it, you know? The technique is really specialized, and I just don't have it. All right, I'm gonna build a shelf to go behind the bed. I'll show you the spot in a minute, but I need to join these two boards together to make one wider board. So I'm gonna use that pocket jig to bring the two seams together and make one wide board. Time to clean up. Let me show you my shelf. Hoo-wee! Another great day. I like carpentry. It's so much fun to see stuff happen. And you know what? It's the feedback you get from customers that sometimes really makes it worthwhile. When you see that they're really happy with your work. Because you know, you do the work and you always wonder, geez, are they gonna like this? Are they gonna like this? And then to have them come back and say, oh my gosh, we love it, is just makes it all worth it. home at last, home at last. Thank God I'm home at last. You know, I thought I'd give you a little bit of backstory about how I ended up doing carpentry. You know, my father's father was a workshop carpenter, so he built toys and he built furniture and he built stuff in a workshop. So my dad sort of inherited that skill and learned some from his father, but I think he learned a lot on his own. And in high school, my father took all of the vocational classes for carpentry, and he actually got the Golden Hammer Award, which is the best carpentry student in the school. And he built all kinds of stuff. He built himself his own speedboat, and he was building furniture at age 16. So he knew from an early age that carpentry was what he wanted to do with his life. I grew up working with him and learned everything I basically know from him, working with him on summer vacations and school vacations, and then after high school I worked with him, and then after college I worked with him. And it wasn't until I was about 24 years old that I started doing carpentry myself. Sawdust runs in my veins. Oh, here comes Andrea.
Car this morning that it's practically out of gas.
Oh, is it out of gas?
Yeah.
No, I didn't notice that. I mean, I just drove like a mile down the road and back.
I know, but that's 3 miles that I'm not going to be able to make it to the gas
I
station.
love you.
You do not.
I do
I'll
too.
call you when I run out of gas.
Okay, have fun. Guess I failed at that, huh? Where was I? Oh, sawdust runs in my veins. My father didn't want me to go into the contracting business. In fact, he wanted me to go to college so that I could escape the life of a carpenter and contractor. But it's such a valuable skill that can be used anywhere in the world that I ended up, you know, needing it between jobs and when I couldn't find work. And then ultimately when I really needed to make money is when I started to get back into carpentry. And then, you know, about 10 years ago, I decided, you know what, if I'm going to be in carpentry, I want to do things differently. I want to be part of the new building paradigm. I want to build sustainable buildings. I want to build buildings that are energy efficient, that are safe and comfortable for people, that use less resources, that use more sustainable resources, that use less plastic. So that's when I formed Sustainable Structures and really embraced the whole contracting and carpentry world. And of course, you know, that sort of morphed into an insulation company that for a while also specialized in carpentry. So I'm kind of getting back to that now. And I am glad for it. You know, I'm realizing that I kind of missed it. You know, like I was saying earlier, there's something very gratifying about building something, seeing the testament of your skills in front of you, and then having feedback from the customer that says, you know what, I really like what you've built. So, yeah, I'm feeling good about things. Every once in a while, I stick my hand blindly into the nest boxes and feel around for an egg, and instead of an egg, I get a squishy load of duck poop in my hands. Well, I just got off the phone with my mother, and apparently she took offense with the statements I made about her side of the family in the vlog titled California Canceled. You know, I sort of, with a broad stroke, suggested that side of the family is crazy. I guess a better word to describe that side of the family is eccentric, and crazy really only applies to like 1/8 of them. I love them all. I've got a lot of aunts and uncles. They're all very cool people, and they are so incredibly unique, and they're all very fun to hang out with, except for one. And you know, every once in a while I have to eat crow, you know? Every once in a while I just say what's on my mind, kind of like our president-elect, and I get in trouble for it. And this is one of those times. So, you know, my mother was concerned that some of her cat customers might watch my videos and think that she's crazy because, you know, of what I said. And, you know, I don't think her cat customers are watching my videos, but who knows? Maybe they are. So anyway, to all my family on my mother's side and to all the friends of my mother's family, they're not crazy. They're just eccentric, you know? And that's what makes them very cool people. And I guess maybe I didn't, you know, talk so much about that aspect of it, but hey. That's one of the perils of vlogging, is that you know, you say what's on your mind, you show your life, and sometimes, you know, you're gonna offend people. So anyway, if I offended any of you, I'm sorry. Probably won't be the last time. Definitely not the first time. Anyway, thanks for coming with me on my day today. I had a great day, I think, as you can tell. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. I mean, who's normal anyway, right? My mother said only 4% of the world is normal. Which makes pretty much all of us crazy.